Coming up, more on the latest state to pass legislation setting strict limits on abortion, in which others have joined them so far. An iconic New York City landmark is getting overcrowded. More on what that could mean for visitors to the Big Apple. And police are asking for your help to find the suspect believed to be behind thefts at an eastern Kentucky school.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:31 on Wednesday, May the 8th. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning in to Mountain News This Morning. It's been a nice week, but that's all going to go downhill later on tonight and into Thursday. Brandon's going to tell you all that fun news in the world of weather. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning, and I'm glad you made me the bearer of bad news as usual, but it's okay. Let's take a look across the region at the cameras first. Outside WIMT, a little bit of fog off in the distance, not a whole lot, but a little bit there, so just kind of keep that in mind if you're traveling this morning. It's patchy down McKee Way in Jackson County, all quiet there as they start the day on this Wednesday. We go to temperatures 50s and low 60s across parts of the area, so not too bad. A very mild start to the morning. Wind picking up in some locations. It'll continue to be between 5 and 10 out of the south most of the day, and temperatures will climb into the mid 80s later this afternoon. I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon. Thank you, sir. Well, we just got word of a tragedy in New York City as 6 people, including 4 children, died in an overnight apartment fire. The New York City police say the fire hit an apartment in the Harlem neighborhood of Manhattan. It is believed all of the victims were from the same family. Fire officials say it does not appear the blaze was suspicious in nature. The investigation into what caused the fire is ongoing. Well, the Trump administration is fighting back against Democrats' investigations into the president. So far, the administration has slowed Democratic efforts to obtain the complete unredacted Mueller report, as well as the president's personal tax returns. CBS's Natalie Brand has more from Capitol Hill.
The Trump administration is telling former White House counsel Don McGann not to comply with a congressional subpoena to turn over documents. White House lawyers say the documents requested remain legally protected from disclosure under long-standing constitutional principles because they implicate significant executive branch confidentiality interests and executive privilege. The Trump administration is also refusing to comply with a separate subpoena to turn over the unredacted Mueller report to Congress.
Every day he's obstructing justice by saying this one shouldn't testify, that one should, and the rest. So he's making a case, but he's just trying to goad us into impeachment.
House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler met with Department of Justice officials to see if they could find a compromise. If not, Nadler's committee is expected to vote to hold Attorney General William Barr in contempt of Congress. Democrats say they have a constitutional responsibility to investigate the president, while Republicans say the Mueller report means case closed.
What we've seen is a meltdown, an absolute meltdown. An inability to accept the bottom line conclusion on Russian interference from the special counsel's report.
Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren responded by reading portions of the Mueller report aloud on the Senate floor and calling for impeachment.
This is not a fight I wanted to take on, but this is the fight in front of us now. This is not about politics. This is about the Constitution of the United States of America.
Democratic lawmakers are hoping to hear directly from Special Counsel Mueller as early as next week. The White House says his report speaks for itself. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Now, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin informed Congress Monday that he will not turn over the president's personal tax returns as requested. Well, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp signed one of the most restrictive and controversial anti-abortion laws in the country Tuesday morning. The law would take effect next year and still allow abortions if the baby's or mother's life is in danger or in cases of rape or incest. Georgia will be the 6th state to enact legislation banning abortions after 6 weeks. Iowa and North Dakota laws were struck down at the state and federal level. Similar bills enacted this year include here in Kentucky, Ohio, and Mississippi. All are facing legal challenges. Meanwhile, controversy over vaccines continues to heat up. Connecticut's Attorney General says the state can eliminate a religious exemption which allows parents not to vaccinate. Currently, the exemption allows parents to not vaccinate children and still attend school. It's unclear whether lawmakers in the northeastern state will fight that battle. The U.S. government is suing nearly 24 coal companies to get them to pay nearly $5 million in unpaid mine safety fines. Authorities say the companies owned by West Virginia Governor Jim Justice committed more than 2,000 federal Mine Health and Safety Act violations in 2014, but have refused to pay the penalties. All 23 companies are listed in the governor's most recent financial disclosure form. They operate in Virginia, West Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, and Kentucky. Meanwhile, the National Park Service is banning commercial tours inside the Statue of Liberty due to overcrowding. The statue, which sits on New York City's Liberty Island, is one of the city's top tourist destinations, according to NPS, which manages the site. Tourist numbers have increased 600% in the past decade. A spokesperson tells USA Today that commercial guided tours add to the congestion. In state news, lawmakers from the Attorney General and the Labor Cabinet went before a federal judge in Lexington yesterday. They are on opposite sides in a legal battle over the cabinet subpoena of teacher attendance records from 10 school districts that closed for sick-outs. The AG's office wants a restraining order to keep the cabinet from enforcing that subpoena or punishing teachers.
It's going to make teachers wonder where is the line that they have to address the issues that are in front of them, and what actions will government, I don't mean the federal court, I mean state government, take to stop them from expressing certain points of view.
The judge says even though his decision will not be issued by the Friday deadline, the later cabinet cannot take any action to penalize teachers or school districts yet. Labor cabinet attorneys say any potential penalties are far down the road. In local news this morning, more than $15,000 worth of electronic equipment and school supplies were stolen from a Knott County school. Officials at Jones Fork Elementary say the man got away with iPads, TVs, and other items. But as WYMT's Connor James shows us, security cameras throughout the school caught a glimpse of him.
Monday morning at Jones Fork Elementary, teachers knew something was off.
And I noticed, even before I went to the door, that there was a basket in the floor, and I said, that's unusual.
Judy Hall, a 4th and 5th grade substitute teacher, says when she saw a mess in her room, she started to realize what happened.
And I thought, oh no, what are these kids going to do? Because some of my kids listen to their reading stories every week that need the extra special help.
A man broke in through this back window.
And then it became very clear whenever we seen that there were items shuffled in the floor, there was things removed off the wall, and then we knew that something was going on.
Principal Jared Huff says they then used security video to see what the man did. Here he is. The man spent several hours in the school, taking more than 20 iPads, TVs off the wall. All in all, more than $15,000 in items. And since Jones Fork Elementary is a smaller school,
the material that he took from us is it's pretty detrimental to our day-to-day functions. So if anybody does have any information, I'd love it if they could help us out on identifying this person.
And now they're hoping someone might recognize this man in hopes of getting those items back. In Knott County, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the suspect is roughly 5 feet 10 inches tall with neck tattoos. If you know him, you are asked to get in contact with the Knott County Sheriff's Department. Officials with the Appalachian Wildlife Center say they will hire 168 people for their new center in Bell County. We are told the average wage and benefits packages will be just more than $54,000. The lowest full-time salary will be nearly $41,000. Those jobs include 32 management and supervisor positions. They say overall their goal is to have employees that will provide a Disney-like atmosphere and super service.
To deliver that Disney-like experience, we have to deliver customer super service. And to deliver customer super service, it requires people with an aptitude and an attitude for that.
The jobs will be posted in the summer of 2020 and hiring will begin that fall. Well, in other economic news, staff at the London Laurel County Chamber of Commerce say Kohls is coming along nicely in London. Officials say they have been working to bring Kohls to the area for years and are happy to finally see it come to fruition. They say they are also excited to see the opportunities for jobs and the economy as well.
Keeping our folks here in London and Laurel County and pulling other folks in from our surrounding counties. We're excited to have them come and shop in London and Laurel County.
Staff say they expect to open the store close to the beginning of October, just in time for holiday shopping. We have a traffic alert to pass along to you this morning. A road in Perry County is broken and it's making getting in and out of a community unsafe. Highway 3348 in Little Leatherwood broke this weekend and has more than 400 homes struggling to get in and out. People who live in 400 homes, rather. State road crews were out yesterday getting a head start on fixing it. In the meantime, cars are fine to drive around it, but school buses, they're a bigger issue.
There's always a possibility, you know, it broke and it slipped off. And if you put a heavily loaded school bus across that same piece of property there, you know, then maybe, you know, at some point in time, it might just slip out, you know, you never know.
Perry County school officials are putting buses on both sides of the break and having kids walk under supervision between the two to get to and from school. Well, it's 6:41. Brandon is going to hustle over to the weather wall as he was typing away on his computer. It looked like he was writing a book. There he is. Let's send it over to Brandon, who'll give you a breakdown of what to expect on this Wednesday. Brandon?
I need more coffee. I need more coffee this morning, but you see out the door, I-75, things are pretty quiet this morning as you head to the first part of your day. You're going to see more of that on the I-64 camera, and again, back and forth on US 119, US 23 this morning as well. Temperatures very mild to start the day. We're only going to get into, we're going to get into the mid-80s later today. We're already in the 50s and close to 60s, so that's not too bad. We'll continue to watch that upward trend throughout the day. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. When we come back, we will have a pet from a local shelter looking for a good home.